Hi everyone, welcome to QAWithSJ channel. In last class, we have discussed data types like primitive and non-primitive data types. In today's video, we are going to learn type conversion and typecasting. So what does it is? So we have learned data types, right? So each data type has its own memory size allocation, right? Like this, like byte, short, int, long, float, double, char, and boolean. Let's suppose you want to convert one data type to another data type, right? When you are writing a code, there might be a possible scenarios where you have to convert from one data type to another data type. So that's where type conversion and typecasting comes into the picture. So type conversion is you can see this particular sequence, so you have to remember this: byte, short, char, int, long, float, double. So you can convert from byte to short, short to char, char to int to long, long to float, float to double. So or long to char, char to long, or int to float, or long to double also you can convert. From left to right you can be able to convert, but from right to left you can't be able to convert. So that's where we need explicit kind of casting, that's called typecasting. So type conversion is also called as automatic conversion, and typecasting is also called manual conversion, because this can be happened automatically from left to right. But when it comes to right to left, from right to left, we have to explicitly tell to the JVM, we have to convert into from one to this manually. Okay, so this automatically can call be as widening casting. This manual conversion can be called as narrowing casting. Okay, so this is just a basic example. Let's see now. So I will go to Java. I will create new class file here. I will name it as type conversion and typecasting, something like this, just to make you to understand. Okay, now let's write some examples. Let's suppose there is an int value, index equal to some 100, index equal to 100, right? Now let's go to our sequence. So byte, short, char, int, long, float, double, right? So what can we do now? This one, int x equal to 100, right? So let's convert into float. Okay, so float, some float value equal to x. We did not get any error, right? Now let's print this value. Okay, let's print this value. So float is for decimal numbers. Okay, now let me run this program. Now you can see this actual x value is 100. Since we have converted x to float, we have got added some decimals, right? Because float is for decimal, so we have successfully converted integer to float. But in other way around, let's take one more example. Okay, in some a equal to some 200. Let's take an example of long. Okay, some long value, so that you will understand better. This is a. Now let's give this. Let's print the long value now. Okay, now let's run the program. You can see what happened. It got printed 200 as it is. But if it is something bigger, right? You can see it is giving some error, right? Let's give some bigger value. Now it is printing. Okay, the thing is, why it is automatically getting converted? Because int has the size of how many bytes? 4 bytes. Long has size of 8 bytes. Okay, now you can think of like uh, a water. which is having four cups. Okay, and uh, and take an example of another utensil which is capable of 4 cups of water. Now you can simply, I mean 4 bottles of water, you can pour into this particular utensil. Still it has space, right? But let's see the other way around. Some long value. Okay. Uh, some value 1. I will give it like this. Okay. Now let's try to convert this value into int. Convert it to int. I'm just giving variable name. This is just a variable. We have already discussed, right? This data type, variable name equal to and value, right? Convert it to int from long, something like this. Now you can see I will give you the variable called value1. Now what is happening here? It is throwing an error, right? So from long to int you cannot, right? We have to cast it. The reason is, you can see for example, long is 8 bytes and int is 4 bytes. So this particular utensil has capable of storing 4 bottles of water. But how many bottles of water you have? 8 bottles of water you're trying to pour into but that particular utensil. Will be able to store? No, right? Some data might be lost. That is the simple trick here. So that it has 8 bytes of memory, it has 4 bytes of memory, so that you can't be able to uh, directly convert. So some data might be lost. So that's the reason Java is just throwing an error. You might cannot convert from long to int. The reason is you might lose the data. So then what you have to do to resolve this error? We have to tell Java explicitly that's fine. So what will happen here? You have 8 bottles of water. You have an utensil which is capable of storing 4 liters of water. Now you are pouring into this particular thing. 4 liters, 4 bottles of water will store here. The remaining 4 bottles of water will just come down, right? Just spill down. That's okay. We are saying like that's fine. I know that. So you can convert. We are implicitly telling the Java that's fine. I will take care. Now you can see this. Now the values are not same because some data is lost, right? So this is how you can convert from long to int. Let's do one more example. Here we can just write long to int. Okay. Now here let's do some another example, float to int. Okay. Some value to, let's give some decimal numbers, 34.5. Now let's try to convert into an integer. Okay, convert it to int from float. Let's give the variable name like this. You can give anything. Okay, from float. Now let's give the value to here. I'm just giving that 34.5 value to here. So float is basically to store the decimal values, and double is for to store the longer decimal values. Okay. Now you can see this. This is giving an error. So what you have to do, you are converting float to int, right? So you have to, so whatever your final destination. So our final destination is to convert into int. So we have to typecast like that. Then we can print this value here. Let's run it. Now you can see 34.5. Now that 5 is gone, because we are converting float into normal integer values. Let's do something for char. Okay, so what was the sequence? BSCI, right? So this is the sequence. B for bytes, short, char, int. So let's give some uh, char to int. So basically we have ASCII values. Okay, so let's give some value uh, capital A. Okay, so let's give some char value, some variable here. I'm giving some 67. Okay. Now what I'm doing, int char int, some variable I'm giving. Okay. Now what happened? We did not get any error because character integer can be converted easily, right? Now let's run this. Now we have ASCII characters based on American standards. Oh, sorry, my bad. Let's give some character right here. So let's give capital A. Okay. So for capital A to small capital Z, we have an ASCII characters from 67, I guess we can see. Yeah, 65. So ASCII character of A is how much? 65. Like that, B is 66, 67. So like that, 92. 92 is for Z, and for 92 is for Z, and for small a, then it would be 97 to Z is for 122. Okay, you can check that. But if you want to convert into char, then it doesn't work. Int, some int value. Let me give some 98. Okay, now char converted to char from int. Let's give some let's give that variable value. So what will happen here? It directly doesn't convert, right? So then we have to do typecasting. So typecasting, my bad. Now let's run this. So we haven't printed this one, so that's the reason it didn't print anything. Now you can see this. So ASCII value of 98 is small b, right? So then it got printed. So you have to keep in mind that this particular sequence byte short char int long float double, so it automatically gets converted, but narrowing casting like in the reverse order it doesn't, so we have to cast it explicitly. Okay, so the reason is data might lost, so we have to tell explicitly, that's fine, we'll take care. Okay, so you can see long and float, float and int, right? So float is also 4 bytes and int is also 4 bytes, right? So you might get a question, so both are same, so that it should directly convert from int to float and float to int, right? But in other way, float to int doesn't, because it has some decimal values. So in such cases also the exact representation might not work. So that's where again Java gives a compilation error, so that we have to tell explicitly, that's fine. Okay, so that convert it. So this is all about type conversion, typecasting. I hope you understand. Thanks for watching.